A diagnosis of breast cancer is like a death sentence for those who cannot afford treatment, but a local organization is providing a light at the end of the tunnel for many who thought they had only a hope and a prayer. We'll find out how the Pretty in Pink Foundation is answering prayers and giving hope next on Black Issues Forum.
Quality public television is made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you, who invite you to join them in supporting UNC TV.
Hello and welcome to Black Issues Forum. I'm Deborah Holt-Noel. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but those affected by the disease have to deal with it year-round. According to the American Cancer Society, breast cancer patients who have insurance can spend as much as $6,500 out of pocket for treatment. And they say that in 2011, an estimated 26,840 new cases of breast cancer are expected to occur among African American women. While incidence rates among Black women are lower than for white women, African Americans have the highest death rate and the shortest survival of any racial and ethnic group in the U.S. for most cancers. The reasons are complex, but wealth and income are among the factors. Well, there's an organization in North Carolina that's working to help ease the financial burdens of those diagnosed with breast cancer. And we're going to learn about their work with today's guests. I'd like to introduce Penny Laricella, Executive Director of the Pretty in Pink Foundation. We also have Kathleen Tillery, a breast cancer survivor and champion of the Pretty in Pink Foundation, and Teresa Edwards, a professional image consultant for the Pretty in Pink Foundation and the American Cancer Society's National Look Good, Feel Good program. Ladies, welcome.
Hi. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me start off with you, Kathleen. If you would just share with us when it was that you learned that you had breast cancer and what your reaction was.
Well, I went in for a mammogram, and this was in May of 2009, and they got a phone call after the mammogram was done that they had found a spot on my breast. So I was actually diagnosed with the cancer in 2009. And very quickly, the doctors don't like to wait once they make the diagnosis. And it was a stage 1 diagnosis, so it was in the very early stages. But unfortunately, I was not able to have a lumpectomy. The cancer was so deep inside the tissues that they did a full mastectomy, and that was of the right breast.
Wow.
It was very complicated. We initially had decided that I would try to have an implant, and we found that the implant did not work for me. It took them 4 surgeries in 6 weeks, which is not usual. Normally, you go in for your mastectomy and the procedure goes pretty smoothly, but my body did not accept the implant, so we had to take it out.
So once you've learned this news about the breast cancer, I imagine that was daunting enough. But then when was it that you learned about the costs associated? That must have been just another level of anxiety.
Yes, it was. The cost factor you don't really realize when you go in for your initial surgery. It is after you speak with the oncologist and go in for your, I had to have chemotherapy, and my chemotherapy was a series of 6 sessions, and the most daunting factor is finding out that the shot that they give you to keep your white blood cell count normal is about $7,000 per shot, and you have to have, most patients have 4. You may have as many as 6. And then you go in for your radiation treatment, and the cost of the radiation was another big surprise for me, because every day you go in for radiation, and I had radiation for 5 days a week for 6 weeks. And even though I had insurance, the copay is assessed every day. So you have to look at that cost factor also.
That's tremendous, but fortunately, Pretty in Pink Foundation was there to help you. Now, Penny, would you share with us how you learned about Kathleen?
Absolutely. Kathleen found out about us through her physician, and of course, we are not going to say no. That is the mission of Pretty in Pink, by way of those persons who are diagnosed with breast cancer who need financial assistance, anywhere from surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation therapy, for citizens across the state of North Carolina who by chance do happen to have the opportunity to hear about us. And so once we heard the information about Kathleen, we asked for her to come to our office. We do like to do a face-to-face interview with the person if possible. We do have a very simple application process that of course does require signatures from your physician saying, yes, this patient is at this particular stage of her journey and what the treatment options are going to be. And of course, in having discussions with Kathleen, our first questions are, where can we help you? And that's the beginning of our story.
Well, let's back up a little bit so that our audience knows when the Pretty in Pink Foundation was established, and what do you do? How do you work?
What do we do? Certainly. Pretty in Pink has been around for 7 years now. Seems like much longer, but it's been around for 7 years. Established by a wish by a local breast surgeon, Dr. Lisa Tolnich. Her dream was to initially help 10 women in Wake County alone each year. And that's just for office co-pays, some surgical aspects for whatever she is able to do, by asking some of her friend physicians, basically by favors. How can you help out? We've got this particular situation with this patient. How can we make this happen together? And from a simple wish, of course, we're talking about 10 women in Wake County. If you have a woman who lives in Johnston County or a person who lives in Harnett County, certainly we're not going to say no. So what started out as a very small an initial step for helping women only in Wake County became regional, and hence we're now across the state of North Carolina.
That's wonderful. Congratulations to the both of you. And Teresa, I want to pull you in here because we've got just dealing with the disease, we've got dealing with the financial burden, but then as an image consultant, how do you help those diagnosed to cope with additional concerns?
Well, my duty is to make them look good and feel better, and that's what I try to do. I take care of their wig care, also teach them how to apply their makeup, anything from fitting bras and showing them how to put the prosthesis, how prosthesis works within the bras. So any type of image consulting, anything that I can do for them, I just do it.
And is that volunteer work?
It is volunteer work. I will service we call our women champions. I will service the champions in-house within the foundation. And if they cannot make it into the foundation, I will also service them in salon. I take them in the salon and pamper them and love on them, and whatever need they have. I'll just do whatever is necessary in order to boost their self-esteem, because at that time, it's just a very difficult time. And we want the women to feel good about themselves and to just to know that they're just loved and cared for.
Kathleen, how important is that aspect? I mean, you're dealing with something that's already devastating, and then your physical appearance is changing before your eyes. How important is that physical attractiveness element?
The physical attractive element is very important. You have to understand that women are judged so much by how they look. And when a woman loses a breast, it affects them in a tremendous way, or it can affect some of them in a tremendous way. You lose your self-esteem because you feel like they've cut off part of me that makes me the person that I am. So to be able to go into an image consultant and have them give you tips on like wigs, which I have chosen not to wear. I've never really liked wigs. So my beautician says that the Lord must have known that I was going to be bald at some point because he gave me the perfect head. So we laugh and we joke about that. But it's a matter of choice. Some women choose to wear wigs. In a lot of cases, your hair does grow back, and it grows back. It may be different from the hair that you initially had. And for most women, it's such a tremendous pain for them to start losing their hair. And so to be able to go to someone that can help you with styling your wig if you choose to wear one, that someone that can help you with your makeup to make you feel more attractive when you look in the mirror, someone to help counsel you as to what type bra you should wear, because now if you're missing a breast, then you cannot any longer go to your department store and buy your bras. So we have to have special bras, and you have to be shown how to fit the prosthesis in and how to actually wear your new bra. So it's a lot that goes into the imaging, and we give Teresa such thanks for making us look so beautiful.
And you're so welcome.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the disparities, Penny. As we learned a little bit earlier, while African American women there aren't as many diagnosed, there are more Black women who are dying of the disease, who are suffering without treatment. And I was wondering if you could answer for us, what are you hearing, or what do you think is the cause of African American women just not being a part of the entire really awareness movement?
Certainly. Well, we have to think about where we come from. We, as women, and particularly in the African American community, when there is something wrong in the household, many times we do not share. Not with our husbands, not with our girlfriends, or even with our mothers. So a lot of times, if there is something wrong, that is just a secret that we hold, unfortunately. And so we actually, when we go out, we say, please, not only if you don't speak to someone else, speak with your physician. But that's just the sense of where we have grown up, that we typically do not share those particular aspects about ourselves. We are homemakers, and taking care of our children is the first and foremost, and we tend to think about ourselves last. But also some of the other areas we think about is the continuum of care. Many times lack of access to get to a physician, or many times if I know that it's going to cost $25 for an office copay, I need money for my children for lunch for next week, that copay will have to wait. And as a caretaker, that happens very much so, particularly in a number of the ethnic groups that we service throughout North Carolina.
What percentage of the people who you assist are African American?
Actually, it's an interesting question that you say that, because we do know statistically that more Caucasian women are diagnosed, but more African American women die. Perchance by them knowing about Pretty in Pink Foundation, we try to go into areas where we can talk to persons within our community, talk to persons within churches, go to health fairs, go to salons, and actually go where women will corral and be able to be comfortable in talking about issues such as breast cancer. So many times they're not hearing about our organization through their physician, particularly in the African American community, but through their peers.
So you have an extensive outreach program.
Absolutely.
And I want to get with you in just a moment, but one more question about Pretty in Pink. Who can use your services?
Anyone. Not only, we're the name of our organization is Pretty in Pink Foundation, so we think of women primarily, but there are a number of men who are also, because we're talking about persons who are diagnosed. Not a high percentage, but the average percentage of men that are diagnosed with breast cancer in the U.S. is anywhere between 1% and 3%. The reasons why, we are not certain. But when a person comes and needs financial assistance, we are not looking at them by gender. We're looking at them by their need.
So you evaluate their income and
Absolutely.
assets.
Absolutely. So those persons that do come in, we look at their particular situation. What kind of insurance, if you have insurance at this point in time, are you of age to apply for Medicaid? If not, how can we assist you if you are? If you are near Medicare age, is there a possibility that you can apply for Social Security, early Social Security, or even for some additional assistance? We like to see ourselves as being, I don't want to use the word point of last resort, but let's see the different areas that we can actually have that person assisted by way of, there are three ways that pretty much if a person is diagnosed, there is private pay, there is the government, meaning that if you can only apply and are accepted into a Medicaid or Medicare program, or if you have insurance. Think of the average person that comes to Pretty in Pink. They could be of age 47, have a home, may have children that are over the age of 18 that may be going to school. Well, that pretty much negates her from being accepted into a Medicaid program and certainly not a Medicare program. She may have a very small policy but may not take care of the astronomical cost that comes about with breast cancer treatment. So we do find those persons who are just everyday people who also need our help. Our first priority is, of course, those persons without insurance altogether. We do find it a way, unfortunately, that if a person has been diagnosed, she needs to find a doctor. First thing she needs is a consultation and a biopsy. Unfortunately, there are times when the physician's office may say you need X number of dollars before walking into our door. That's quite daunting. Number one, the woman has a disease and now she needs to find out who's going to take care of me. That is our first priority. The second priority, of course, are those persons who may have insurance but they may not have enough coverage. And then, of course, with those persons, if you do have coverage, many of the deductibles are so high, a person just decides, I'll let this wait, or I'll wait until my renewal period comes for the next time of the year and see how I can make this appointment.
So it's quite a
It's
number of services that you're
Absolutely.
providing.
So we look at each case on a case-by-case basis, everything from what's required, how much do you bring home, what other services can we find in the community, because the areas that we take care of are specifically for surgery, chemotherapy, radiation therapy, COBRA, as well as office co-payments. If we can find another organization that can help with ancillary services that may be of need, such as for a car payment or a utility bill, a telephone bill, we work with partnering agencies who take care of those aspects. We focus directly on treatment.
So it's a great place to come, a wonderful resource if you get diagnosed, whether you think you qualify
Absolutely.
to benefit from Pretty in Pink Foundation or not.
Yes.
Now, did you have, Kathleen, insurance when you came to Pretty in Pink Foundation?
Yes, I had insurance, but because I was out of work at that time, they put me I was on a COBRA insurance plan, and come to find out that my COBRA medical insurance payments were almost exactly the same as my mortgage payment.
Wow.
So it was an astronomical amount of money to have to spend just to keep up the insurance, and it became a struggle. I have disability insurance from work, but it wasn't enough to take care of both my normal monthly living expenses as well as the medical insurance.
It's just
So
amazing
it
how
gets to
much
be
it
very
costs
frustrating.
and all of the things that you have to go through. And Teresa, I know that you have a personal story, or there are people in your
I do.
life who've been affected. And talk a little bit about that and how it might have affected
Well,
your decision to get involved.
My mother was diagnosed with breast cancer when I was at the age of 18. I was getting ready to graduate from high school, and she couldn't make it. She had her surgery that day. So that was very devastating for me. And watching her go through the process of losing her hair and the whole 100 yards, that just really, I don't know, it just touched my heart in a way where I always felt like I wanted to do something, some type of volunteer work, but I just wasn't sure where I fit. Last year, my father also was diagnosed with colon cancer. He is now doing well and thriving. And after his diagnosis, though, I thought I needed to give back to the community in some way, shape, or form. I contacted Penny, and I just started working with the Pretty in Pink Foundation, and my goal was to do whatever was necessary, not just to work on the image consulting part, but to get in the office and do office work if I needed to do it, whatever the need was. I just wanted to be there because I know how devastating it is to have a family member that their appearance is just not, it's not what they're used to. And I just wanted to bless people. I just wanted to love on them and bless them.
Well, it
And
sounds
that's how
like
it
a
started.
big blessing.
Yeah,
Sounds
that's
like a
how it
big
started.
blessing.
Yeah.
Kathleen, where are you in your treatment and recovery?
Well, right now I am cancer free. I have a condition called lymphedema, which is a swelling in my arm and in my hand, and therefore I wear constrictive garments to help keep the swelling down. I visit my doctors currently about once every 4 months. I go in for my checkups, and at this point I'm doing very well. I have not been able to return back to work because of the restrictions on the weight limitations that the doctors have placed on me. But I try to volunteer with Pretty in Pink Foundation as much as I can, and I go out and I speak for them, and whatever, like Teresa, whatever it is that I can do to help Pretty in Pink Foundation, spreading the word to other women that there is a place that you can go where people will understand what you're going through physically, as well as be able to help to ease the financial burden.
Well, Teresa, you get to have a lot of interaction with women as you're
do.
working. What are you hearing from them? What are they saying about going through cancer recovery?
They really don't say very much about going through the recovery. They just tell me how wonderful they feel after the pampering session. And that's really important, that we pamper, that they get pampered, because they go through so much. I don't know. I just love on them, and I just have fun with them, and I share. I learn about their families. I learn about their trials and their tribulations. I can't explain it. It's an experience that you would just have to get in the foundation and volunteer and find out. You will never know how heartwarming it is to serve somebody until you work with someone that has gone through the trials and tribulations that a lot of these women have gone through.
May I add to that?
Please.
And when persons come to our foundation, we like to have a very warm, welcoming place. Let's turn cancer off for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
We understand your situation. We understand while you're here. But when you come in, you're a champion. All of our clients basically are called champions. And so we want to treat you that way. And so therefore, when they come to the foundation for whatever service they come for, we just, again, love them, pamper, and really just turn the cancer card off for 5 minutes and let's enjoy life.
Good, good. And we have just a few seconds left. Share with us a little bit about your future at Pretty in Pink Foundation and what kind of assistance the organization needs to move forward.
Absolutely. Well, we're pleased to say that we're across the state of North Carolina. We service 59 counties. Our goal is to service all 100 counties within the next 3 years. We have 3 offices, of course, in Raleigh. We're also in Wilmington as well as Charlotte. For next year, we anticipate having office or service areas in Asheville, the Triad, and also in Greenville, so that we will have that complete coverage. But matters not where the person is located within the state of North Carolina. If they call us, we will make sure we will find a service provider for them specifically in their area for whatever pampering services they may need, for any counseling services or psychological services that they may have. So again, we're not just a place you just call to say, I need help financially. How can we help and bless your family through our organization for many areas of your life? Your children, how to talk to your husband, etc.
Well, bless all of you for coming out and sharing your stories with us and in the work
Thank
that
you.
you
Thank
do.
you.
I'd like to thank Penny Laricella, Kathleen Tillery, and Teresa Edwards for coming out to share their stories with us. And for more information about today's topic on breast cancer or the Pretty in Pink Foundation, visit us online at unctv.org/BIF, and you'll find links to email us your comments and join us as fans of BIF on Facebook. Or you can call us on the BIF line at 919-549-7167. Be sure to meet us right back here each Sunday afternoon at 4:30 for Black Issues Forum. I'm Deborah Holt Noel. Thank you for spending your time with us.
Quality public television is made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you, who invite you to join them in supporting UNC TV.